All right, I think we're ready.
Welcome to Good Works Tractors. From snow to mow, Good Works Tractors is the place to go. Shop goodworkstractors.com, subscribe to our channel below, like our Facebook page, and stay tuned. Thanks for watching.
Well, somehow I happen to have 4 different loader bucket connection systems here at the same time. Well, you're only seeing 3 right here, but I've got a loader that's tucked back there that has a 4th kind on there, which isn't really a quick attach at all, but it's going to be a 4th kind of bucket attach, I guess, that we'll go over as well here in a minute too. But so what we have over here is going to be the skid steer style quick attach, okay? This over here is going to be the global style. At least that's how I'm used to hearing it called, and I am the least familiar with this version of quick attach system, okay? And then the style back here is the John Deere quick attach system, which is popular with John Deere's. So with the skid steer quick attach system, and yes, you're seeing this on a John Deere tractor because it is at a certain point a factory option that you can get and add on to your John Deere tractor. I don't really know if it's available on smaller series of tractors like the 1 and 2 series or even the 3 series, for instance, but I know this is a 4 series and I've seen it on larger series as well. And so this may be a viable option for you if you are ordering your tractor brand new. This particular tractor was used, it came into me this way, and this is the machine that I'm using at this time. So now you will start to see this larger carrier system over here, and I'll do some close-up views so you can kind of see that as well on all of these. But this global system here is something, again, I'm the least familiar with. And so I was talking to one of my distributors recently and kind of was picking his brain a little bit on what they see as far as with front mounting attachments like snow pushers and pallet forks and bale spears and all that kind of stuff. And they do see a decent amount of this type of system on the larger equipment. It does look like it's a very robust system, and so perhaps that is where it's coming into play, is when you have these loaders that have incredibly large loader capacities and lift capacities, that perhaps you just need a more robust system of connection. I have heard the second least familiar system that I know of is the skid steer, and so I know that it's a fairly universal system. I just happen to sell primarily John Deere tractors, and so I don't get as many skid steer models in. I don't use skid steer attachments as often, and so as I use this tractor more and more over the next 3 to 12 months, I'm going to find myself getting more used to this. I have heard that attachments can wear out on these pin connection points that you see down here. I understand that there's some metal around here that can wear out over time. I don't know if that's a huge concern or not. Might need some grease. Now, onto the John Deere style of quick attach. It kind of looks like the puniest system, doesn't it? Which maybe has pros and cons to it. And so one of the biggest pros, in my opinion, is going to be weight or weight savings. And it's typically going to be around 50 pounds less in weight compared to a skid steer quick attach version. And I don't know the weight rating or the weight of one of these quick attach styles over here, but I do know that it's significant just by visually looking at the material. So the downside to that perhaps is that maybe it's not as robust of a connection system. And now I have used this style of connection system more than any other, and I have never had an issue with it of any kind. I find it extremely easy to hook up to this style of quick attach system. I feel it allows for perhaps the most misalignment, and not that it's going to connect in a misaligned way, but that you can come in not quite perfectly and it'll almost just center itself on there and allow you to attach. Whereas with the skid steer style, you got to be precise right on there, otherwise you find yourself backing up and reattach and going forward again to try to get that aligned just correctly. So this is my second time ever disconnecting a global style of quick attach, and so I did what we did here in the very beginning to disconnect this, and then I reconnected it, and it was an easy process. The biggest challenge for me, and it's becomes more apparent on larger tractors versus smaller tractors like the 1 series and 2 series, is visibility. And I think that's where it comes into play with the John Deere style perhaps being more beneficial, because as I was talking about earlier, where you can't see very well and you have a little bit more room for misalignment when you're coming into the attachment, That gives you more of that leeway when you don't have really good visibility down there to maybe not be absolutely perfect coming into the bucket or the snow pusher or the pallet forks or grapple or whatever it is, and still be able to make that connection. And now I'm not a John Deere dealer. I don't really give a rip what tractor you buy. These are just the tractors that I sell, and so I'm just kind of giving you my first-hand experience. And so skid steer system I think is a great system. I have had a couple of Kubota tractors in the past that had a skid steer system that must have been tweaked somehow, because it was I was able to get the bucket off of the machines on two different machines that probably a year apart from one another, but it was almost impossible without putting it under some sort of a load in an awkward way to be able to reattach one of these two fasteners. I could get one to attach, but not the other, or maybe it was this one and this one, or vice versa. But I've never had that problem with a John Deere loader. Take that for what you will. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and give you a little close-up here of how to reattach, and you can kind of see the process of how these things go on and off that way. Hopefully you got a little look of it here in the beginning, just of how they come off, which is not very much of a challenge. I think getting things back on is always more difficult than it is to take them off. here's a little close-up of the bracket on the John Deere Quick Attach. So if you heard this called JDQA, that's what it is right here, okay? So again, it helps to have this rocked back, and it's going to take some pressure off of this location right here, and that way you can pull this out. If this is rocked forward, like the bucket or forks or whatever are rocked forward, there's some pressure in this location here that makes it very hard to pull those pins out. So I think what you're supposed to do on here is simply probably have it rocked back a little bit like this, and then pull it out and rock it down. And there's that little protrusion there. And this is some pretty heavy spring-loaded stuff here. You can kind of see that system. That rod goes all the way across, and then it's going to lock it in place over there. So if I release, I'm going to go ahead and just flip this up a little bit, and that spring's going to slide this all the way through. You might be able to see it go through over that way. I'll try to stand back here a little bit, just like that. And so then that locks all the way through over there, if you can see it. On the skid steer style, what you're doing is you're flipping both of these brackets. You have one here and one here, and then there's a pin that sticks through. Oh, where's my pin at? Right there. Okay, that sticks down through the slot. That's what's holding it in place. So you have two of those, all right? So let's talk about the fourth style that I mentioned earlier, and that is the pinned-on style, the cheapest style, the most inconvenient style. And that is what this loader has right here. And so there is no quick attach system, okay? That bucket is, you know, quote unquote, pinned on. And so this is actually part of the parking stand right here, so that's not related to the bucket at all. But you'll see this, this is a D120 loader. John Deere doesn't actually make it anymore. So all of John Deere's loaders are gonna be quick attach of some kind now, but you'll see this a lot on Kubotas and, you know, a lot of the other manufacturers, really. This is gonna be their base option. It's gonna be a pinned on bucket, which means there's no versatility. There's no ability to quickly take that bucket off and put pallet forks on, or put a snow pusher on, or a grapple, or anything else. And so it's the cheapest option for sure, but it's the most inconvenient in my mind, and it's the hardest type of tractor to resell. So if you are buying a tractor, keep that in mind, because you never know when circumstances might change and you're going to need to get rid of it. I am in business because of used tractors, people getting rid of the tractor that they bought brand new, okay? And so it happens whether you plan on it or you don't plan on it. That's just the way it's going to go sometimes. Regardless of the style of quick attach, it's really the most convenient way to go. Opens up a world of possibilities for you. And this just happens to be a look of John Deere's that are equipped with different styles of quick attach. But the John Deere style is only going to be found on John Deere, but the skid steer style, again, this is SSQA right here. This is JDQA. I don't know of a short acronym for this one. Or abbreviation, just global style, I guess. I don't know if this is Euro style or not. Somebody can tell me about that. Well, hopefully you found this helpful. Always reference your manual when you're going to be doing something. You know, I'm trying to give you visuals here of the different options that are out here, and this is how I've taken them on and off. May or may not be the right way, but I just want to give you a visual on what these are, because it's a lot easier to understand something if you can see it. At least for me, that's how I learned. So anyways, if you wouldn't mind, please take a moment, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my Facebook page, check out my other videos. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.